tip is controlled by number 16, Ohio State.
And Indiana opens up in a man-to-man. They're going to have to be very cognizant. Weston on the low block. They're going to have to get plenty of help. In the last game, he was perfect, 7 for 7 from down low.
C.J. Jackson has the window open up, and he finishes.
Well, that was just an easy drive in a lane created by the big body of Caleb Weston.
Indiana winners of 4 of the last 5, shooting over 50% in that stretch. Robert Johnson makes this team so different when he can hit threes. Turnover right away into the hands of Jackson. He pushes. Skip pass ahead. Off the window and through.
Nice job with the bounce pass on the break. Advantage break. And Ohio State's gotten off to a nice start, building a lot of confidence on the away floor.
McSwain, cross-court pass. Green tries to probe, now turns around.
And Green tried to get Caleb Weston to switch out on him, but Weston wasn't having any of it.
Johnson, the runner, can't fall. Offensive rebound, Morgan. Tate trying to go off dribble. Plants kicks into the corner to Jackson. Well, they tried to lob down low, looking for Weston, but too strong.
Yeah, Weston can get up a little bit, but not quite that high.
The shake by Green, pull up. McSwain, offensive rebound, finishes.
Well, Indiana's going to need that and more. Obviously to neutralize the inside play of Ohio State, but outstanding hitting the offensive glass.
Tate feeds Weston, has a seam.
And that's what they're afraid of. Big fella using his body, shielding off the defenders, creating a nice target for the passers.
Juwan Morgan for 3. Not exactly a guy you pencil in as a three-point shooter, 31% of the season. Nice screen by Weston trying to free up Jackson. Hit a bates-diop silent so far. Jackson penetrates, no foul, front iron. Bates-Diop controls a fresh 30. Looking for Tate, loose ball, Tate comes up with it. In the corner, Morgan almost got a piece of it. Now whistle sends it the other way.
Sometimes big bodies like that get used against the guy. Even when they're not committing fouls, they'll get called for it.
Johnson fading away, tough shot. Bates-Diop pulls down the board. Transition, Cam Williams, too strong, falls right to Zach McRoberts.
And that's not a bad shot by Williams, 6th in the conference in three-point percentage. That's the way the game's being played these days.
How about this finish by Robert Johnson? 5 straight games in double figures, 29 at Iowa. Of course, knocked down 9 threes to tie a school record.
But he's looking for some redemption. The last time these two teams played, just 1 of 6 on the field, 2 points. And that obviously hurt the Hoosier attack.
Tate trying to get the offensive glass. Bates-Diop, the kick out. 3 good this time, Cam Williams. Now just 4 points shy of 1,000 for his career.
Johnson really active, running through screens. He's almost run a full circle.
Johnson had position, puts it through.
You know, what Chris told us earlier today, in practice, a lot of it has to do with the chemistry and the leadership of guys like Jayshawn Tate and Keita Bates-Diop, that they bought into a new coach, and the rest of the guys followed.
Weston tips it inadvertently right to Zach McRoberts. One of the great stories of the conference, a walk-on, an Indiana native. A 2 by Morgan. Jackson pushes ahead. Andre Wesson has a hard time holding on, but does. Tate, one of those guys we just referenced, almost gave up basketball leading into this season. Decided he maybe wanted to play football instead, but good thing he stuck with it.
That's a nice job by Morgan to hold his spot against Weston, not allow Weston to back him down.
A little runner by Jackson. He thought he got fouled. He was asking for it. And turns out to be a shot clock violation. Devontae Green brings it across.
Again, look at the motion. I mean, Robert Johnson, by the time this game is over, he probably will have surpassed the 5-mile mark without the ball.
Green now with 7 to shoot. Trying to find some space, and it's swatted away by Bates-Diop. He pushes ahead, Bates-Diop to the rim, and he's fouled. Caleb Wesson gets a breather for Ohio State.
And you saw those numbers for Bates-Diop. Those are player of the year type numbers. And again, a guy that's helped lift this team and greatly exceed expectations. You've got to give him a lot of credit for that.
Offensive foul gives this ball to the Buckeyes. Kirk thought about it. Instead gives it up. Contested deep 2 by Smith. Here comes Dockich, of course, his father Dan, the former Hoosier. Bates-Diop, an open 3 this time, and he makes him pay. Baseline drive, Durham puts it in reverse.
Yeah, he's guarding the point guard right now.
Tries to draw contact. No foul. Offensive rebound underneath. Morgan can't finish either. Entry pass. First touch by Micah Potter. Potter battling. He gets fouled. That's the second on Juwan Morgan. Buckeyes an 8-0 run in just over 90 seconds. Pass to Smith. Gotta go baseline, draws a foul.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Hoosiers have missed 9 of their last 11 shots. Now to shoot. Morgan with 5 to shoot. Taking on Tate. Runs into traffic, draws a foul. That foul, by the way, the second on Caleb Wesson. Missed them both. Dockich looking low, instead gives it up to Williams. Williams with the touch.
And it's the big body of Caleb Wesson that set that pin down screen.
Caleb Wesson with those 2 fouls to the bench.
Well, without getting a third, he did a nice job out there making his presence known. One drawing a lot of attention, allowing a backdoor to occur, and the other setting a terrific screen to free open a jump shooter.
Johnson gets a 3.
Last 5 minutes and 15 seconds, and so Indiana's got to find a way to get some of those possessions back that they've been giving away with the turnovers.
Dockett steps out of bounds. Morgan had 4 points early, has been quiet since. Posting, Tate on his back. Battling for position, scoops underneath, count it, and one. And this Ohio State lead really cut into, now just 6. Diop in traffic, picked off by Durham. Newkirk, finger roll, and the finish by Justin Smith. Andre Weston looking backdoor for Bates-Diop. Bates-Diop, long 2, front iron.
And you know, we talked about his drop-off. You know, averaging just 13 points over the last couple of games. A lot of that has to do with fatigue, and that demonstrates it right there. That was kind of a bailout shot. You take those shots when you're too tired to work harder.
McSwain off the mark. Bates-Diop last 3 games barely shooting 30%.
Yeah, he's got to get more energy. He's got to actually get some easier shots. Posting up is a good opportunity.
Jackson launching a deep 3, and he finds it. Much improved three-point shooter this year, C.J. Jackson.
Create a little breathing room with good execution. Take a little hard hedges out there. Again, trying to disrupt the Indiana flow.
Newkirk finds a little seam. Kicks it away to Durham. He hunts a 3. Tate looking low to the elbow. And this match here, Bates-Diop turns around, hits it.
I'm going to say he better turn around. You know, he's got a 6'1" guy on him. He's 6'7", 6'8" with that length. You know, if there's any time for you to get aggressive offensively, that's it.
He leads all scorers with 11 now. Newkirk, wide open 3. He has really struggled from distance. He's missed 17 of his last 18 threes. It's that one, though.
Yeah, he's giving the Hoosiers a lift coming out of that timeout.
Picked off. Right to Freddie McSwain. Indiana can tie. They've led by as few as 2 in this game tonight. Meanwhile, the Buckeyes have led by as many as a dozen. Durham in the paint, almost lost it. Now some space opens up, count it, and one. Buckeyes by 1, under 90 seconds here in the first half. Jackson off the screen. Bates-Diop with 8 to shoot, looking for his 3rd 3. McSwain just swats it away. Last touch. They overturned their original decision. It is Buckeyes ball. In a full 30 seconds.
Bates-Diop, if he gets another chance, a guy comes flying at him, you got to put it on the floor and go to the basket as opposed to settling.
Foul away for the ball. Newkirk on Jackson, under a minute to play. Jackson pulls up, tough angle, and McSwain flies in out of nowhere, gets fouled. Tied at 31. Driving to shoot. Bates-Diop. Turnaround jumper off the window at the horn.
Boy, elevate and then locate. And that's what Bates-Diop did.
Newkirk fouled. Front iron.
And that would have been a tough shot regardless by Newkirk, and here they bailed him out.
All time. 1.2 left here in the first half. Baseball toss to Tate. Tate off the glass. No good, boy. Good opportunity, though. Tied at 33 here at half. Now Newkirk, who did not start the game, starts the second half. That point for Indiana.
Yeah, he was such a catalyst in the run on the offensive, and there's a big mistake right there to start.
Cam Williams. He's in double figures with 11 now.
Sometimes plays like that, you know, you work so hard in the first half to inflate your confidence. Plays like that deflate you so quickly.
Newkirk, one of 5 seniors for Indiana tonight. Tonight's senior night, rather. McSwain rejected by Tate at the rim. Oregon fading with one of the shot clock. Almost put back in by McSwain. Quickly ahead, C.J. Jackson. Bates-Diop squares, plants. Puts it through.
And that's much better. Instead of him lingering outside, taking some of the ill-advised threes that he did in the first half, even though he was the leading scorer for his team, he's so much more effective with the mismatches, his size and length down on the block.
He had a double-double against the Hoosiers in January, 13 and 13. Now at 15 points tonight. Johnson taking, hanging, too strong. One-handed rebound, Morgan. McSwain fighting for it, and a whistle underneath. Newkirk looking for McSwain. Johnson heaves a three. Rims out. McSwain collides with the floor. Last touch by the Hoosiers. Buckeyes ball. Jackson, the Buckeyes assist leader, but there haven't been many of those lately. He's one of the guys Chris Holtman talked to us about earlier today. Maybe some tired legs. Contact underneath. Tate and Morgan colliding. And for Morgan, that's his third foul. Off the glass and good. Caleb Weston, a pretty quiet first half, just 2 points. Weston, who was 7 for 7 from the floor in January against Indiana. Newkirk, nearly straightaway three. Bates-Diop can't hold on to it in the hands of McRoberts.
Yeah, that's when you're in the right place at the right time. You usually make plays like that.
Robert Johnson. Bates-Diop holds on to it this time around.
Indiana can't fall in love with the perimeter jumper. They've got to go inside out, put some pressure on the Ohio State defense instead of bailing them out with perimeter jumpers.
Quick turnover. Indiana's missed all 7 of its shots since halftime. McSwain, quick kick out. McRoberts. 3 try, off the iron. Long rebound out to Jackson. He plants and finishes.
And those long shots create long rebounds.
McSwain battling. Into the hands of Tate. He pushes. Tate. Left hand. Good.
With the crossover. And a couple of minutes ago, you were asking me, was I surprised that Tate's still on the floor? Because he can do stuff like that. You know, keep the offense percolating.
Surprisingly for Tate, his first bucket tonight. Averaging 15 and 13 his last 2 games. Whistle and a foul. Robert Johnson, his second three.
Of course, as I always say, Kevin Keats can coach.
All 5 of those men first year at a new school. By the way, as we went to break just a few moments ago, Caleb Wesson was whistled for a foul, his third, as he tips it to bates-diop. So the Buckeyes with Tate and Caleb Wesson with 3 fouls. Very prominent players for the Buckeyes.
And if you notice, Tate off the floor right now.
Wesson dives for it. Crowd wants to travel. Long runner, Cam Williams. He's having himself a night. He's got 13.
If there's anything that you can't allow happen if you're Indiana, is Ohio State beating you to the 50-50 ball. Not at home. You got to out-hustle them. You got to out-effort this Buckeye team. And right now, the Buckeyes are demonstrating desire. I was going to mention Jayshawn Tate on the bench right now. Chris Holman figures he got enough out of it.
What a move by Newkirk! He's been a starter the majority of the season, has been coming off the bench recently, playing like a starter tonight, though. bates-diop, 6 to shoot, fades.
Good job by McRoberts not giving ground. bates-diop may be long, lean, athletic, but not strong enough to move the defender away.
Newkirk steps into a 3, and it falls right to Caleb Wesson. Whistle in the paint.
These guys get tied up a lot.
Wesson, contact. He'll shoot 2. Five-point lead for number 16, Ohio State.
Yeah, Potter in the game right now, primarily for post defense, rebounding, and certainly hustle. Just another live body.
bates-diop trying to create off the dribble, and he does. 17 for the conference's second leading scorer.
He does it so effortlessly. Looks so smooth out there, even though he had to battle some physical play.
Now 7 to shoot. Johnson behind the back. What a move again.
Boy, Potter was no match for Johnson in the open floor off the bounce. And as I said, Morgan and Johnson have to be totally involved in the offense and certainly have to pick up the defensive end as well.
Potter can't hold on. Turnover. Morgan across midcourt. Alley-oop. Watch out. Off the mark, Justin Smith out of his sights. Smith hanging short. Try to follow. Green with now 10 to shoot.
There's Johnson again.
Johnson now 6 straight games in double figures. Fouled. He'll shoot twice.
And that man is back in the ball game. Jayshawn Tate, a guy who's pretty much a leader, can match up in a lot of positions with his versatility.
He gets the touch low. Tries to follow. Out of bounds. Last touch, Tate. Durham off the bounce. Seam opens. He finishes. Tied at 48.
It's all about challenging the defense.
A kick is called. They were looking for Wesson. Tate off the dribble. Head fake, finishes. Bates-Diop checking back in for Ohio State. This game's leading scorer with 17. Drive, Justin Smith! Jackson, 3, answers on the other end. Kirk gives it up, Smith, hammer time, watch out!
My goodness.
We have seen some ferocious finishes at the rim tonight.
That was payback from the time that the possession that Ohio State had, where their bigs took over down low. That was a message.
Indiana a chance to tie once again. They've only led by as many as 2 or as little as 2 in this game. Johnson leading the Hoosiers with 15. Tough fadeaway deep 2, and that's the result.
Once again, they never explored inside.
Jackson looking for Wesson. Stumbles, recovers. Bates-Diop spinning, hanging, what a finish.
Yeah, as I said, not much you can do with that young man. Absolute patience, sweet touch down low. And most importantly for Ohio State, he's not settling for 3. He's working hard to get the higher percentage shot and put a lot of pressure on the Indiana D.
Ron Morgan has been held scoreless so far in the second half. Hoosiers leading scorer and rebounder, gives it up again to Smith. Tate hangs left hand right through.
I think by now everybody understands that Jayshawn Tate is a lefty. Everybody maybe except the 5 guys in Indiana on the floor because they haven't taken away from him.
Johnson doubled, backs out. Johnson now with 7 on the shot clock. McRoberts, fadeaway 3, what a shot!
Zach McRoberts doesn't take them often, but he makes it count when they need him most.
Offensive foul, Hoosiers ball. Feed Morgan, finishes, foul. You can count it. Now Morgan has had his struggles, 2 for 6 at the line. By the way, Jayshawn Tate now with 4 fouls. Well, this is seemingly as close as Indiana has gotten all second half, back to the break-even mark. And then Ohio State has always had an answer. Calling a foul on Indiana. Williams having a good game, 13 points. Under 5 minutes now. All tied at 59.
Boy, Wesson broke wide open. Jackson couldn't find him. I don't know how you can't find that big fella.
Bates-Diop with 3 on the shot clock. Pulled down by Tate. Loose ball and a foul. Get it into Tate. Jackson, 3. Here come the Hoosiers.
Almost disaster. You got to communicate on the glass. Same team.
Straightaway 3. Rims out.
That's not a bad shot because that's his shot. You know, off the pick and pop, you get wide open, you got to take that look.
Bates-Diop posting. Intercepted by Roberts. McRoberts coming across midcourt. Newkirk off the window and good. Tied for the largest lead tonight by Indiana.
Smart basketball, unselfish basketball.
Entry pass, Wesson, rejected. Buckeyes trying to snap a 7-0 Hoosiers run. Tate in traffic puts it through. That'll do it.
Yeah, you just got to love Jayshawn Tate. Finds a high percentage shot. As I said, uses that big body to get to where he wants to be and gets the defenses out of position.
Johnson off the screen. Loose ball. Controlled. Fouled. Morgan, the only Hoosier in foul trouble. Bates-Diop, a game-high 19. Puts it right through in the face of Justin Smith.
Yeah, nothing Justin Smith could do any better than what he did. You know, he was down low, ready to play the drive, contested the jump shot. That's just better offense from Bates-Diop.
Smith into the paint, has it blocked. Boy, he runs into Bates-Diop on both ends.
Just like that, now he goes to the free throw line.
Couple of big free throws. Back to a tie game, even at 63, approaching the 2-minute mark. Left wide open, Cam Williams, too strong. And it's controlled by Johnson.
Outstanding defense. You had a lot of cutters and rollers to the basket, and Indiana played them perfectly. Pressured the ball, didn't allow the interior pass, and avoided a disaster on that end.
Fingertips on it. Bates-Diop forces the turnover.
Quick reaction by Bates-Diop.
Under 90 seconds. Wesson looking low, had Tate for a second. Almost picked off. 5 to shoot for Jackson. He chucks a 3, and it rims out.
Wow. You can't shoot it any better than that and not come up with a goal.
All the way to the rim, and that rims out on the other end by Johnson. Last touch, Indiana. You do everything you can to get into the hands of Bates-Diop here?
Well, you move the ball around and try to eat some clock for sure. But yeah, you try to get to your best player and let him make a play.
Wesson going back door. Johnson got a hand on it, but not enough.
Yeah, they tried to use Indiana's aggressiveness against him, but good recovery by Johnson.
Tate, a lot of dribbling. Tate, tough 2. Ripped down by McSwain.
And guess what, Aaron? Morgan got the message. Tate's a lefty, and he took the left hand away.
Archie Miller calls timeout. Shot clock turned off. McRoberts to inbounds. Into the hands of Robert Johnson.
And there's a spread floor, the 1-4 situation. Johnson's got free reign right now.
Under 10 seconds.
There's a high screen. Nope. Slips it.
Johnson pulls up, hangs. Loose ball. Under 2 seconds. Newkirk a heave. It was in line. We are going to overtime. Minutes in overtime.
That's got to be a hold, absolutely.
Morgan the 1-1. Kept alive, no surprise by Zach McRoberts.
Yeah, Archie Miller told us McRoberts' value is in the intangible stuff. Stuff doesn't always show up on the stat sheet.
Now, his former coach at Vermont, John Becker, ran into Archie Miller on the recruiting path over the offseason, and he said that McRoberts, he said to Archie, he'll win you a couple of games. Archie had no idea what he was talking about until now. 4 on the shot clock. Long floater. Johnson almost put through by Morgan. A minute into overtime. Indiana by 1.
And that's tough. Almost a minute of possession by Indiana. They come up empty.
Wesson backing. Fouled. Chucks it up there. He'll shoot 2. Gets a second. Roberts looking for Morgan. Roberts cuts, gets it, finishes.
Outstanding cut by McRoberts, but what a pass.
Tate looking to go baseline. Cut off by Smith. Tate backing down. Little bunny goes through by Caleb Wesson.
And how about Tate, the facilitator on the block? Again, so adept not only at scoring down low, but also finding people with pinpoint passes. And if I was Ohio State, I'd wait a little bit after screening and looking inside, allow Wesson to use his body to get in position when they're on the offensive end.
Newkirk stumbles, turned it over into the hands of Cam Williams. Buckeyes a chance to take the lead.
Wesson wide open, they found him.
He gets the feed. A dozen for Wesson, just as you were saying, he had a pretty quiet regulation.
Yeah, and what happened was his team now playing a little more patiently. And when they're patient, they can wait for him to get in position. That time, Indiana just totally lost him.
Now, Wesson had 7 in regulation. He has 6 here in overtime. And he's given Ohio State the lead. Johnson with now 7 to shoot. Morgan, tough shot. What a finish.
Well, Morgan cognizant of the fact that Wesson has 4 fouls, no hesitation down low. And that's where Indiana has to continue to go. At least start your offense there.
Tied under 2 minutes. Williams, tough 2.
Boy, quiet as it's kept, man. Cam Williams with 15 points.
He's the second leading scorer for Ohio State tonight. Bates-Diop with 21. None in overtime. Getting close to the 1 minute mark. Smith taking. Boy, he had a lot of those go through in the second half.
He's taking a lot of contact, but he can't worry about the officials blowing the whistle. You got to play through the contact.
Timeout called. Chris Holtman. Bates-Diop to inbounds.
Well, let's see what Ohio State cooked up in the timeout. This is where they needed extra possession.
Bates-Diop straight away three, too strong. Into the hands of McRoberts.
Could have made that a two-possession ball game and a total uphill climb for Indiana, but right now they just call a timeout, draw up a play to tie or go ahead.
If Indiana wins, Michigan State outright Big Ten champs. You look for a 2 or a 3 here, Lynn.
Best available shot.
Morgan, baseline, position. Cannot put it through.
Tip back. McRoberts once again, all the little things.
About a 2-second differential, shot clock to game clock.
Yeah, they win at Weston because he's got 3 fouls and Morgan's a lot quicker than he is. And now he's got to make himself available.
Another timeout called. Right to Robert Johnson. 7 on the shot clock. Johnson has a window open up. He's fouled. He will go to the line. McSwain comes in for Indiana. Cam Williams for Ohio State. Dockich out. Now a timeout called by Chris Holtman. Robert Johnson got the first. Now looking to tie. And he does. 17 for Johnson.
I like that. Well, you got to put a man on the ball, I think, but they're going to get it in. Now it's solid defense without fouling.
Tate gives it up. Turnover. A long chuck by Morgan. And we are going to our second overtime. Here we go, second overtime in Bloomington. What an atmosphere tonight, over 17,000 strong, another sellout.
But right now, I look for Ohio State at least to try to go at Morgan's man. Morgan with 4 fouls, get him out of the game. And maybe it's a little bit downhill.
Entry pass, Bates-Diop, what a pass. He gets fouled. Johnson Smith having himself an evening. 14 points for the freshman. 4th on Wesson. Wow. 3 for 10. And a game in our second overtime. Williams pulls up too strong. Long rebound out to Morgan.
Yeah, I'm not understanding that offense. You got an advantage.
Morgan, 2 hands, clear the deck.
As I mentioned, keep going at him. But on the other hand, I think Williams shot a little too fast instead of, again, challenging the the Indiana defense.
Wesson out of position.
Bates-Diop is asking the ball to get to the wing so they can feed him down low.
Ohio State calls a timeout. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Jackson creating, hanging, rejected. Bates-Diop, quick touch, puts it up. Ball's right to Justin Smith.
Yeah, you had to deter the law and make that a harder shot, which it was.
Indiana has never led by more than 2 in this game.
Surprised Morgan didn't turn around and try to post.
Smith.
Oh my goodness. That would have been a perfect time to slam.
Tate spins, left hand off the window.
And Morgan couldn't afford to take any chances with 4 fouls. And Tate knew it too. Took him as close to the basket as he possibly needed to.
Buckeyes back on top by 1. Try to feed Morgan and a foul.
Now he's gone.
Now he is gone. Caleb Wesson's 5th.
That was almost unavoidable. He got caught on the screen and with no help. Might have been better off just allowing Morgan to get in and score.
For the lead. It has been such a struggle for Morgan at the stripe, but he gets both this time. Hoosiers by 1. Over to the wing. bates-diop so close, trying to post. Dockich with 6 to shoot. To Tate, again off the glass and good.
Excellent penetration by Dockich, but Tate steps up and gets his man on his back in the paint to give Dockich a target.
Buckeyes back on top by 1. Smith stripped by Dockich. Stays here. Smith spins, hangs, what a finish. His first points of overtime, he's got 16, gives Indiana the lead.
Yeah, Smith gave Tate a little taste of what Tate's been handing out on that spin.
.90 seconds. Five to shoot. bates-diop, 3 to shoot. Long straightaway 3. Huge rebound, Robert Johnson, and foul. Travel.
Yep.
Beg your pardon. Side inbounds, Dockich. Fresh 30 seconds for the Buckeyes. bates-diop backing down. Backing down, hanging, puts it through.
But McRoberts needs help.
Josh Newkirk, the senior, brings it across.
Remember, Ohio State had a lot of communication problems, particularly on the defensive end.
Justin Smith going up against Tate, too strong. Brought down, bates-diop.
Indiana does not have to foul. They still have an opportunity. With a 12-second differential on the shot clock, they got an opportunity to make a stop and still come down and get some quality offense.
Jackson controls with 9 to shoot. Dockich can't hold on. Over and back.
Unbelievable.
Normally so sure-handed.
Wow.
Timeout call, Archie Miller. Our second overtime here inside Assembly Hall.
Wow. Still got a 1-point lead. You look at the clock right in the middle of your screen, and they made that call about 17 seconds. 16.7, I guess. The clock down there doesn't have tenths of a second.
A Dockich who regularly logs 20 minutes off the bench for the Buckeyes.
But the most important element is the Buckeyes have to remember, they got the lead. They still have a 1-point lead to protect with strong defense.
And they like the clock where it is, 16.7. Indiana down by 1. Morgan high, penetrates. Backing down, left hand, gives the Hoosiers the lead.
No timeouts left.
Jackson, deep 3. Oh my goodness, he got it. By 2, under 2. Half court heave, Johnson. What a thriller in Bloomington.